Okay, I'm not sure if I'm on here. I'm gonna double check anyways. But anyways, I'm trying something new. I'm gonna try and see if I can share the screen. Something new, exciting for Jerry. Doing something very technological. I guess I'm getting old. I don't move around on the computer as fast as these kids anymore. So I used to be like some hotshot with the computer, but I haven't really, practiced much lately. I've gone without a computer for like 2 years. I guess it was kind of nice in a weird way. But now that I'm back on it, I gotta like catch up. So anyways, I'm gonna try catching up here and seeing if some things are working. I'm gonna experiment for the first few seconds, and I gotta double check a few things to make sure it's working. I see that we're live, but now I'm gonna switch over and see if this stuff comes up. No, you know what? That's not gonna come up unless I do this. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Is that... There we go. All right. So then... All right. There we go. All right. So then... All right. So we can shut you off and we can start talking to you. Right? Anyways, I've been watching some crazy stuff out there. People be tripping out, and it's funny. Going back some years, and when I woke up, there was a lot more on YouTube than there was now. A lot more about false flags, a lot more about a lot of things that they seem to have censored. But there were other sources, and you could find out there that were still, not so censored. But I noticed something. It's like some of their stories were bullshit. They would, get into certain rhythms, like part of the year, and it was always this time of year going into winter. The Russians are training in Colorado. We're going to war. There's going to be a financial breakdown. Get your gold, get your silver. And then that doesn't come. And, then they would have Nurebu come in. Planet X is coming. We're all going to die. And, all right, now where's the Nurebu? Or Planet X or whatever. A meteor. Oh, fuck it. Nurebu didn't even come. And then, the aliens. And then it's the end of the world. And what else do they scare you with? The financial meltdown. And, out of all of them. The EMF. And then the more you look at certain things, like, well, they need us to be within our technology so that, this is just annoying looking at two screens, but they need us to be in our technology so that we don't stop getting programmed. They need you on the computer. They need to be hitting you in that social media. There's people in the PsyOps departments that are literally creating memes. They have their own meme department. And, some of the stuff they create is actually sounding like it's stuff that we're fighting against them. You got to remember, the more they can, the CIA is always on this, the more they can get the people to think they fought, and then nothing ever happens, the more will they break so that they ever fight for real in the first place. Okay? And they've done this through many different groups. You got to remember, one of the most brainwashed groups they have out there is our U.S. military. Okay? They got to keep them brainwashed, because, what happens when the military find out that they're just going to fight a war for some rich people and they're killing brown people for no reason? You got to keep them brainwashed. Got to keep them gung-ho. So, there's that. And, I see a lot of people wake up and they jump on the bandwagon, and they can even make money off of YouTube by going down these constant rabbit holes. And especially with, Texas is like the heart of PsyOps Central. I know me and Bill have covered this many times with their U.S. Army Civilian Affairs Psychological Command units. They got a big base out of Austin, Texas there. They even built an additional big, huge building right at the airport there. So they got a ton of that crap going on there. And it's constant brainwashing. But you keep the troops busy. You move them around. You change things up. They never know what to expect. Always on edge, ready to go. And they spread that into their world, into their families. Families spread it into the community, into, next thing you know, it's on YouTube and this and that. It constantly goes on. Doesn't mean it ever won't happen one of these days. No, it doesn't. Matter of fact, they could do it at any time. But I think what you need to be more alert to is the people that have been around for a while and have seen this many times before. They're going to know when the shit goes down. Okay? There's a lot of people that have built a network of people that have paid attention to this stuff go on and on over and over again. And they're all over the country. And the word will spread fast from people that are, experienced in the bullshit. Okay? It won't take more than a minute or two. So when you need to be really worried is when you have some people that have seen this shit before, seen all these psyops before, go, hey, no, this is it. No more bullshit. This is the one. The people that aren't constantly calling wolf, when they come out and say, hey, this is what you have to worry about. Me and Bill last week said they're taking guns, small amounts, with their new red flag law. You want to know what? Are they going to come for everybody's gun right away? No. Little by little, they're going to, build up those little bills that spread all over the country. And little by little, step by step, it will be years before they really, make it so it's even to the point where it's much noticeable. Because here's the thing. We warned you and told you about it. They're doing it now. And nobody's saying anything. But you can be more worried about, get your gun, da-da-da. No, that's what they need you to do. They need you to lost in that hype, in that fear. That way you don't actually talk to your neighbors and your friends and your local politicians about making sure that that red flag law doesn't get passed in your state. They're rather scared to death that you need to run down to your bunker and have you in fear constantly so that you never actually do anything that could change something. And that's where we're at in this country. There's a lot of people out there that literally do have the strength in them to do something to change this world. But they're too caught up in the bullshit, too caught up in the fear. And that sucks because it's going to keep people from, actually doing something to change this world. Listen, they when I saw the numbers, Zach did the numbers and I ran them too, with Trump's daughter running for president in 2028. They have an agenda. They have goals. They have a system. And they're not in a rush. Just like I'm not in a rush, it's I'm not going to live in a state of fear because I won't accomplish anything. If you live in a constant state of fear, if you allow the people around you to continue to just continue to fearmonger, and profit off fearmongering, we're going to go nowhere. You have to step back and look at the whole picture and study and learn what these people do. Learn what these Masons do. They've been doing this for a long time. They are masters of social engineering, social control, mind control, religion control, money control, control. Whether you want to admit it or not, whether you're awake or not, really doesn't matter. They control a certain amount of your ability to, fight. It's funny, they constantly moving. Listen, we've had the border crisis in the past. About 4 years ago, whatever, they had this big thing where there was people were coming over the border, Chinese were coming over the border, all this crazy shit. Warships were coming in, all this stuff, right? Then it just never happened, fizzled out. Does that mean that they won't have you know, these migrants come up to the border, then have the military there shooting them with electronic weapons to scare everybody, and then them screaming and running and all kinds of crazy shit. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean it at all. They might actually do something like that. Will they? I don't know. Who knows? They might not even know yet. It depends on if they can put it all together and work it all out. You know? They would love to see it, though. You know, just imagine them getting to test out some of their new energy weapons on people in front of an audience, in front of, you know, people running around with little video cameras so it looks like it's independent journalism, and they're sneaking, you know, secret views and all that stuff. And then that fear just spreads all over the internet. And know what that does? That helps them out a lot. Look, oh my God, we can't even do anything with our guns because they got these new weapons and they're just going to blow us away with energy, and we're going to, you know, be crying on the floor and all this crazy stuff. And they'll scare everybody. Oh my God, oh no, oh no. So, you know, listen, wouldn't put it past them to do something like that whatsoever. No. Why? Shit. You know, it's a logical thing to do. Works out for them. You know? You know, when it comes down to it, no matter how much brain control they have out there, mind control, yeah, they can get a lot of troops to do stupid things, but it's going to be very tough for them to get them to have to face other Americans gun to gun. Okay? So, that's what you need to tell these military people is, you know, why are you worried about anybody else? So you don't figure out what's going on, you're going to be up against me. There's going to be a gun, you know, there's going to be a rifle butt on my shoulder, and it's going to be aimed at you. And you're going to have the same aimed at me. Do you want to be in an America where this happens? You know, because that happens. You know who's taking the place of the British soldiers? The American soldiers. You got to remind them that. When the military turns on its people, they turn into the enemy of the people, of the Constitution. And that's what you got to straight up tell them. And, you know, the Masons and all the people that organize these things understand that. They need to control us through psychological operations, make us constantly live in fear, so they could slowly just steal things right from under us. Our land, you know, our resources, our natural habitats, our culture, our minds, our money. That's what they need to do, and that's what they're doing. It's all brainwashing. You know, you got to step up to them when they try their brainwashing. You know, it's just like it wasn't too long ago. What they did is they came to my town, and you know, I'm gonna double check this one, make sure this is still showing, because you know, what I wanted to do is I want to show you something. Is in my town, they were gonna run a drill because there was an abandoned building, and they wanted to run a drill that made no sense. Small town up here, they wanted to run a chemical drill. So you're just going to scare a whole bunch of people around you. The military, you've trained in your bases. You could train anywhere on your own property where you have all your, you know, prefabbed bullshit. You already know what to do. When they do these operations, it's for psychological warfare on communities to scare people. To, oh, look at our strong government, going to save us. We can show you how this is how they do it. They had it all planned. It's like, oh, they're good guys, this and that. No. You need to stop them when they're doing their drills. You know, a lot of those drills, they don't always go live. But whether they go live or not, they're psychological operations. So I'm going to show you this video real quick. And let me see if I can just move this over. I think I got to move this down a couple times. Or is it up? All right. And then come over. Let me play this real quick. What's that? There's somebody out there. Hope you guys aren't planting a false flag around here. You know? I tell you what, I don't play around with like that stuff.
Play around with what?
With false flags and all that shit. You got some weird government vehicles in my town. I don't like it.
False flag.
You know? Might be smart to get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Huh?
No.
No? You guys don't do that? You sure? You're not part of the psychological command? Huh? You little fucker.
What are you doing here? Huh? What are you doing here? Huh? Yeah, run, motherfucker.
So, anyways, I gotta go back down. There we are. You know, I got them out. You know, the next day, they were supposed to do a big fucking thing. They never really did it. All I saw was them block off the road, and then they left. You know, whether they would have went live or not, who knows? I doubt they would have. It was probably just a drill. But you gotta let them know you're watching them. You gotta say fuck you. You know, we all want to be friends with the military. Hey, we support you and all that. I understand that. But they're brainwashed. And we want to take care of them when they're out of the military. But when they're in the military at this point in time, the way our government's been behaving, they're behaving like enemies. And it's not their fault. They're nice guys. They're nice people. They're just doing their orders. But even though they don't completely understand that these type of things are done for, you know, psychological operations, you know, for screwing with people's heads on a social conditioning, social engineering level, that's not our problem. We need to stop them from doing it. So you got to speak up. I speak up. I'm not scared of these people. I stopped living in fear a long time ago. These people can't scare me. They don't scare me. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I scare the shit out of them. Because I don't fear. Because I don't fear them. Because I don't fit within their little agenda. I don't fit into one of their psyops. Whether it's a religion psyop, whether it's a space psyop, whatever psyop they got going on, that general one, I for some reason don't fit in it. That's why I get censored all the time. That's why I can't use my normal name on YouTube. You know, there's some people that have gone through these things before, seen all this shit, and don't live in the fear, and don't promote the fear. You guys cannot be scared out there. These people are nothing to be scared of. Why do you think they need to control you so much? Why do you think they need social engineering to the extent that it is? It's because they're scared of you. That's why. They're scared of people coming up to them face to face and saying, hey, no, you can't do that bullshit. It's wrong. You know, whether you're a low-level Mason or high-level Mason or, you know, whatever, part of whatever group, secret society that happens to be doing whatever particular social engineering event via the military or otherwise, it's wrong. They don't like to have to face it. They especially don't like it when you call out their names. You know, like Jeffrey Getting, you know, that took part in social engineering and lying to the public. They don't like to have to face that, to hear those words to their face that they're not good people, that what they're doing is wrong, that it's not going for the greater good when you're deceiving people and hurting people. They don't like to hear that. That scares them to death. We scare them to death when we have that knowledge, when we understand the true history of how religion was formed, and, you know, how society was formed, how social engineering is formed, how education system is formed, what it's used for, how it's used, and then explaining it back to them. They don't want to hear it, because when they hear the truth and find out they're just turds, shit, scumbags, they don't like it. So they try and social condition as much as possible so they don't have to hear it, so they don't have to hear the truth. You know, I don't take it. Listen, when shit hits the fan, trust me, you'll know. You'll know. But if you live in fear, you have more to worry about, because as long as people continue to live in fear, they're going to do nothing to change what's going on, because they're going to be too afraid to walk up to your Masonic hall and say, hey, what the frick's going on here? You know, I know you're low-level Masons, you don't understand all this, but let me show you some of the symbology that's going on. This is your symbology. Why are you part of a group that goes along with this? Can you answer that? Are you okay with this? Are you okay with what's going on? Yeah, sure, society has been through hell and is behaving like shit. Sure, we have people that are just behaving like general degenerates all over this country. But wait, it's your groups that designed this Masonic bullshit all through the entertainment industry, showing us degenerate activity constantly in our faces, and you're wondering why people are behaving like that? No. It's not the people's fault. It's your fault, Mr. Mason, because you're helping. You're paying your dues to that lodge. All that money's going up. You're supporting this behavior. You're creating this behavior. And if it's got an ism, socialism, communism, all those isms, it's a word for a control system they want to use on particular groups. And it's funny, I came across a little bit of what I see as Fabian socialism. Fabian socialism is a lot to do with, pushing the gender movement and all that's going on in there. And of course, you got to be very careful what you say on YouTube as far as that goes. But I can say that was a planned thing, and a lot of it went through the Fabian Society. And whether this, what I'm about to show you, is coming from a Fabian or not, I'm not quite sure. But the ideas, you could tell, are very Fabian-esque. People like Russell Brand, Fabian, okay? Somebody from the Fabian Society. Seems like a great guy. Sometimes even gives you truth and all that stuff, very logical stuff, okay? Famous for Fabians to do this, all while being behind some of the subversion. But that's not a good person, When you're a part of these agendas and then pretending like you're warning people about these agendas, that makes you a horrible person. You don't get free from that karma just because you told people about them and are supporting them. The things I've seen him say about Sinead O'Connor, completely horrible things, calling her mental condition, everything else. Listen, I looked into what was going on with Sinead O'Connor. She got MK Ultra from Dr. Phil's people. He's got a weird group. One of these days I'll go through the whole group of MK Ultra that he runs from Texas to many other places. And that's scary. So in other words, Marshall Bland must be an idiot, because it's not hard information to find out. And if you know somebody's MK Ultra, don't sit there and call them crazy when they've been programmed to be the way they are. It's not her fault. The demons she fights with are demons they gave her. It's very unfair. So people like him are just horrible people. And the Fabians, from George Bernard Shaw to Orwell, don't get even me. Hard to convince people when they fall in love with their shills. But so I'm not going to even get into it. But you need to study more about these societies and the history and these people and their real history before you just take what they say. And that's the Bible. Because if you don't know how they're playing this game, you ain't fighting the game. But I want to show you this, because it freaking blew my mind that they're putting this into society, But let me show you this real quick. I think I gotta jump over here and just push this down. Let's see which way I go. This way. All right, pop over here. All right, let's play this for you.
Sexuality expert claims parents must ask permission before changing their child's nappy. Deanne Carson believes consent must be given by the child before their dirty nappy is removed. Here she is on the ABC suggesting how to go about it.
I'm going to change your nappy now, is that okay? Of course the baby's not going to respond, yes mum, that's awesome, I'd love to have my nappy changed. But if you leave a space and wait for body language and wait to make eye contact, then you're letting that child know that their response matters.
But Ms. Carson...
For real. For real. The worst part is there might be some people, I think this was this a UK program? There might actually be some people in the UK that listen to this garbage and do that. All right? This is social conditioning. This is, you know, training you and your child to think in a certain particular way, to demand without, actually working, and it's a very psychological destruction of, people in certain age groups to have the ability to be powerful. Okay? If you have a child, and I don't think anybody should need to hear this, and its diaper is filled with poop or piss, change the fucking diaper. All right? Seriously. Your child does not need to give you consent to make sure that it's taken care of properly. Okay? They're screwing with people's heads. And this is the crap that comes out constantly. And all the sheeple out there, they buy it and eat this stuff. But we're living in a highly socially engineered world. And if you can't pick through the bullshit, pick through what they're trying to do here, which is a solely systematic breaking of the will of the people so that they can steal when they're not looking. They get you following along in this bullshit. They'll have people talking both sides of the damn diaper change issue and arguing about it, and different groups, different age groups that follow, certain stories fit different people, and it's what they do. It's show. It's bullshit. The Thousand Oaks thing, people have already forgotten about it. They knew what they were doing with all these things. They don't need to come tomorrow or anything else. And yeah, they do have to worry about an economic breakdown. And listen, it's been at the breaking point for a long time. But I think they need to have things more under control before they do that. An economic breakdown worries them more probably than it does you. Because here's the thing. When a total collapse happens, they need to gain control over it. And that's not going to be easy for them to do. So it's a systematic thing. Their plan, as it goes now, seems to be working well. Populations throughout the world are declining. We're constantly being poisoned. The health system hasn't changed a bit. Crime has actually gone down when they probably would like to see it go up. Police would love that. Putting police out of business when there's not enough murder and death and stealing. That's why they got to fake more of it to justify them. Because in reality, in many cities, the rates of crime have gone down so much that you can't really justify the shit. Some areas have gone up drastically in some busier areas. There's a lot of areas you can't justify the police forces like they're trying to do. Nothing to fear. Like I said, people, they fear us more. Our biggest obstacle is that brainwashing, social conditioning. Because it's so hard to fight and do something to change anything when your biggest obstacle is actually other people that are overly social conditioned, overly brainwashed. They're constantly in the way. And listen, you know, the lie is always going to be the most popular. You know, and people admit that, and still in the awake community, or truth community, whatever you like to call it, people still fall for the bigger lie. They still go along with the popular. It's ego. It's part of human nature, and the CIA knows how to play on that. That's another obstacle. You've got your own obstacle of getting over your own ego, and you have the obstacle of getting over everybody else's. You know. But when it comes down to it, just stick up for yourself. If you see, you know, just like they try and tell us, if you see something, say something. If you see them doing something, say something. If you see the police doing something stupid, say something. If you see the military doing something stupid, say something. But don't listen to them, because they're full of lies and bullshit. They always have been, and they always will be. Because Masons are motherfucking dirty. Straight up dirty. Dirty.